Did you know cruise lines charge more during the holidays? And they hide it in some sneaky ways. I've been on several holiday cruises and I've learned the hard way how to avoid paying more while still getting all the great benefits. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to avoid the most common holiday cruise pitfalls and save yourself hundreds. I'm Gary with Optimal Cruising, giving you fresh cruise advice, money-saving hacks, and secret strategies the cruise lines don't advertise. Let's dive in. A couple friends of mine recently told me they wanted to book a holiday cruise, and they were asking me, what's the best time to book? And it really doesn't matter because the prices over the holidays are extremely inflated. But if you don't have to be on that ship for the actual holiday, you can get some of the benefits before or after the holiday. This is especially true if you're interested in a Christmas cruise, because cruise ships will put up those decorations, the trees, the gingerbread houses, all the special extras you'd expect weeks before the actual holiday, and they'll keep them up a week or two afterward. You can experience a lot of the same atmosphere without paying so much extra. Let's take a look at how this pricing works to your disadvantage. Here's a popular ship, Icon of the Seas. Now on this ship, you can see if you book a week or two before Christmas, you can get a week-long cruise for $1,200. But if you book during the week of Christmas, that price jumps more than double to $2,700. And right afterwards, it falls back down. Incredible. And then if we look at a ship that isn't so new, we see the same trend. So here's Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas, and you're going to see two dates here. A couple weeks before Christmas, $588 per person. This is for a 7-night Caribbean cruise. The week of Christmas jumps up almost triple to $1,530 per person. There is one strategy, however, that cruisers use to get a better deal on a holiday cruise, and that is to book it last minute. I'll show you right here. So here we have a listing of all last minute cruises. So Christmas, as of the recording of this video, is about 6 weeks out. And you can see here, you can get a last minute deal on Celebrity for $830 per person. And that's during the week of Christmas, sailing out of Tampa. And once you book that holiday cruise, don't forget about all the free extras. On most cruise lines and cruise ships during the holiday season, they're going to have some extras that you don't get on a normal cruise. And this is one of the reasons that people like to book these cruises. On Christmas Day, they will have a special dining menu. The same thing will happen on other holidays. Depending on the holiday, there will be specific themed parties that you might enjoy, and you might get a few extras. For example, during New Year's, there'll usually be some type of gala ball on New Year's Eve, and they'll be giving out free champagne, special hors d'oeuvres that you don't normally see. So there's some perks you get for being on these holiday cruises. During Christmas, they'll have usually a Santa there for the kids. So it's quite an experience to be on a cruise during the holidays, but you are paying more for it. And this next item makes holiday cruises feel a whole lot different. I was on a holiday cruise once and I could not believe all the little ones running everywhere, all around me, pretty much anywhere I went on this cruise. And that's one thing you're going to see on a holiday cruise is a whole lot more families and a whole lot more kids, especially if you're going during Christmas or New Year's. These are big school breaks for kids, and families have that opportunity, and a lot of times they take it with their kids to go on a cruise. This could seem a bit chaotic for couples or solo travelers. So be aware this is what you're getting into when you take a holiday cruise. And they're usually packed as well. A lot of them sell out. So there's going to be more noise, more activity, more things going on, more events centered around the holidays. And that makes cabin choice matter a little bit more, because if you at all are bothered by noise, on these types of cruises, it's very important to have that cabin at least 2 decks below or above any public venues because holiday cruises make use of all the little obscure bars and weird places of the ship because they're having different types of events. They'll have events for kids, events for teens, events for adults, and they'll be holding parties at places you don't normally hear parties late into the night. And if your room is near one of these venues, it could be an issue more so than an ordinary cruise. And the chaos doesn't end there. I was on a holiday cruise a few years back, and I made the mistake of having Cozumel on my itinerary. And this was a Christmas cruise, and when we got to Cozumel, that port was jam-packed. In fact, the minute I got off the ship, I felt like I was in a sea of people. I couldn't even see around me. And there were 3 or 4 megaships at one dock, and they have 3 different docks or ports in Cozumel. Imagine all those people on their holiday cruise. It's crazy. Another one to avoid is Nassau. It also gets extremely busy, especially during the holidays. Instead, if you can choose your itinerary, book one that includes further out or smaller ports where they can't fit all these ships, and you'll probably have a better experience on those port days. And excursions are hard to book during holiday cruises because they sell out fast if you're booking with the cruise line. Now, I usually recommend booking with a third party, and in that case, you wouldn't have any problem. Okay, so I'm looking here at Viator.com, which is a third-party provider of shore excursions. We have a link for them in our description. And here's a St. Martin Island tour for December 1st, priced at $60 per person. That exact same St. Martin tour is $60 per person on December 24th. So these third-party providers don't gouge you because you're going on the holidays. The cruise lines will. They'll increase their prices. And here's one more example. On Cayman Islands, a Stingray City Snorkel and Starfish Adventure Tour, $63 on the 24th. And planning during a holiday cruise becomes crucial. I've been on holiday cruises with 3 lines: Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and MSC. And they all did it right. I have no complaints. One of the big benefits is the food during the holidays, especially the buffet. The buffet on Christmas Day was amazing. I was on Norwegian during Thanksgiving. The buffet was incredible. Most people skip it because they think they're going to get better food and service in the main dining room. But on these holidays, the cruise lines go all out in the buffet. Ice sculptures, fancy carving stations, all kinds of things that you don't normally see there. And then I see people make the mistake of trying to get into specialty restaurants on holidays for the holiday meal. There's really no point. You're getting an exceptional meal in the main dining room or the buffet on the holiday. You might as well save the specialty restaurants for another night during your cruise. But before you book that holiday cruise, don't miss out on this next secret. The first holiday cruise I ever booked, I booked directly with the cruise line, and I realized that was a big mistake. I could have saved $200 on that cruise just by booking with a travel agent. And I don't mean saving in the price. I think the price was the same after I found this out, but the travel agent was offering a $200 onboard credit for my stateroom, and I didn't get that from the cruise line. In fact, cruise lines will rarely offer extra perks and benefits on holiday cruises because they know they sell out. But travel agents want your business, and they're getting some commission from the cruise line for selling the cruise. So they sometimes pass those deals on to you with onboard credits, sometimes in the form of just a Visa gift card that you can spend any way you want. But why leave that money on the table? And there's another secret that I learned from a couple cruisers who like to gamble in the casino. They say that during the holidays, especially during Christmas, which tends to be a very family-oriented cruise, casinos aren't as busy. So they offer better perks and payouts for gamblers. So if you're a gambler, you're more likely to get more benefits, a faster route to a free cruise, and other things if you're gambling on a holiday cruise. But before you even board that cruise, there's a couple things you must know to avoid the holiday chaos. But first, if you've gotten some good tips so far, make sure you subscribe to our channel, become part of Optimal Cruising's family. I showed up for my first holiday cruise, Embarkation Day, expecting to get on the ship in a normal amount of time. Wow, was I wrong. On these holiday cruises, it's pretty chaotic on Embarkation Day. So expect a longer than normal wait if you're going on a holiday cruise, especially if you want to get on early, because most people are trying to get there early and get on the ship as soon as possible. One thing you can do if you want to avoid the crowds is go a little bit later, like 1 to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This would be for a typical sailing out of Miami or Port Canaveral. And if you get there a little late, the crowds will have whittled down and you'll probably have a lot smoother check-in process. And I know a lot of people like to bring gifts on these cruises, especially a Christmas cruise. But if you wrap those gifts, there is a possibility that it's going to have to be opened when you're going through security or through check-in, because some of these things get flagged and they're not going to let a gift wrapped item go through without looking inside and seeing what it is. Your best bet is to probably put in gifts in your checked luggage or just leave them at home and have a gift opening party before or after the cruise. So before you book that holiday cruise, consider the reasons why you really want to go cruising during the holidays, because there are some other ways to get incredible cruising deals, and I'll tell you all about those right here.